Let me tell you the story of one of the most unusual criminals in modern American history. A man who blended military precision, movie-level creativity, and an almost polite attitude into one bizarre crime spree. His name, Jeffrey Allen Manchester. Everybody called him the Roofman.
So, where was he living?
He was living in a Toys R Us for months, sneaking around at night. Yeah. Eating all kinds of food. Working out. Showering in the bathroom. I'm Becca.
I'm Kyla, and welcome to Chadderbox. For returning listeners, we love you so much.
Come back in.
For our new listeners, welcome. Chadderbox is where we talk about a lot of random topics. We get off topic a lot, and that is what we do.
For the chatterers.
So let's get ready to go inside the box.
And ready to rumble. Okay. So, Jeffrey, good old Jeff, he was born in 1971 and grew up in Rancho Cordova in California. You know where the fuck that is? Do you?
I don't.
By all accounts, he was pretty ordinary, the kind you'd never expect to see on the news. After high school, he enlisted in the U.S. Army and served in the 82nd Airborne Division. Therefore, he learned all sorts of tactical skills, rappelling, weapon training, planning, all kind of stuff like that. Basically, he knew what the fuck he was doing. All the stuff that he did and learned, unfortunately, he'd later use in his life of crime. He married young at just 20 years old.
A baby.
But the marriage didn't last. People get married young.
I mean,
common back in the day.
I can't imagine.
It was so for girls to get sent off and marry a family. Like, that was normal. And, like, you see all that baby.
Yeah.
Now it's, like, kind of normal. Like, once you're 18, but girls are younger than 18 were getting married off. This is weird.
I think in a Middle Eastern country, the legal age to marry is 14.
It's probably a country that you can have multiple wives in, too. And just, like, and you don't get to speak.
This friend of mine, she lives in Missouri. She had a missionary family that just got, like, deported out of China, staying with them because there was, remember the one child law?
Yeah, it changed.
Now it's 3 children.
Yeah, I looked into that because it went from 1 to 2 to 3.
But now they still do it to you. It's just less common because people can have more kids. But then in the basement of this church, they allowed a woman to give birth with the help of a midwife, like in the basement, and it was her 4th child. And then when this happens, they can just give the child away to a family member, and the family member will act pregnant. So then they'll just be like, oh, I gave birth at home. This is my daughter. Like,
so they're still in the family.
Yeah.
But does the kid ever know, you think?
They said sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But she said that the lady was found out because somebody in the family told on her, because they said that they could tell that she was hiding a pregnancy. And by the time they found her and then looked at her, they knew that she gave birth. So then they start looking around and they immediately looked to the family members. And then they found that it was with an aunt. And then they sterilized the woman and then they took the child.
They found out so? But I thought she faked it. The other one, the aunt.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't matter because they just took the baby away from her. Like, I mean, they did a DNA
What if they were
test.
wrong?
Oh, they did a DNA test, yeah.
Damn genetic tests.
Well,
damn technology.
Because this church was harboring them. All of the people involved in the church got deported. So when their visas expired, they would deny them renewal, which is like crazy. So then that family who helped this lady was staying with my friend for like a weekend. And he like speaks fluent Chinese. He's from Iowa or something.
That's crazy. Yeah, dude. That's crazy.
I just can't believe that that's still going on. They'll like take women to the back of vans.
So it's the same thing if like, instead of after the first child, after your 3rd child, they will find you.
Well,
So they still implement that rule no matter like, so I actually never considered it because it's like, oh, cool, 3 children. But then you think of the other women that want to have more than 3 children And you're like, oh, fuck. That
Yeah.
still happens.
Yeah. It's just
Sad.
It's crazy. I watched this documentary on Amazon Prime, and my friend told me to watch it. There was like a doctor who came on the documentary. They were like, "How long does this take?" And she was like, "About 10 minutes." But it just makes the woman not be able to like conceive anymore. I think they cut something.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Imagine getting your right taken away from you.
It's like The Handmaid's Tale
Oh.
in real life, kind of.
I mean, there's parts of it happening in different parts, I would say. And it's a very possible theory, essentially, that it could happen. Anyways, basically, just married at 20 years old, but that marriage did not last long. By the late 90s, his personal life falling apart. Wasn't going good. He was working at McDonald's. And it was around this time that something in him seemed to shift. This is the late 90s. This is right around when I was born. When he did this, it was kind of cool for me as well, because like this was happening as I was a baby. Instead of flipping burgers, he started planning robberies. And not just any robberies. They were clever, disciplined, bless you, and strangely violent. He wasn't mean. Like he wasn't aggressive. Starting in November of 1998, 2 years after I was born. And I was born in the month of November. Anyway, Manchester began targeting McDonald's restaurants across the United States. His method was so unusual, it earned him his nickname, the Roofman. So,
The Roofman.
do you know what the Roofman means?
I do not.
The Roofman, we'll get to this. He would study a location for days, even weeks, observing the employee routines, security measure, everything. Then, under cover of night, he'd climb onto the roof, drill a hole or a saw through it, quietly entered the building. Sometimes he'd hide in the restroom or storage area overnight, just waiting for the morning crew to arrive.
So just like in Elf when he was like decorating for Christmas and like
How did it work?
hid in the bathroom.
But he waited for them to close. He would go in when they're closed in the middle of the night. And he did it to almost over like 40 McDonald's. He went to the roof and he cut a hole and then he climbed it.
And he would just go from McDonald's to other McDonald's.
Then he would rob them.
Oh my God.
It's so interesting. So interesting.
This is real shit.
I just can't believe, if you were to look up clips, like when I watched the movie, at the end of the movie, there were like legit news footage videos of it and clips of him. And it was so cool to see what a newscast looked like in like 1998. Because you wouldn't just like find this story. I think I would have never known the story unless it became a movie.
Yeah.
So cool. Like, imagine all the kind of stuff that happened on like the news programs that you never would have seen. You know, who knows what kind of crazy stories happened. So
I'm into it.
I love it. I love the movie. Y'all should watch the movie. It was so good.
What is it on? Like what streaming platform?
I don't know, but I watched it in theaters. Like it literally it was in theaters like a month ago.
Okay, so it's probably gonna be on some streaming platform.
Eventually, yeah. We can look it up. Why don't you look it up?
So the Roofman is currently not on streaming platforms, but is expected to be streaming on Paramount Plus. So currently it's only in theaters if you want to watch The Roofman, which I'm just going to wait for streaming because I don't like going to movies. Yeah. I'm going to watch it when it comes out on streaming. This guy who I work with claims that his uncle was in a documentary, which his claims are backed up. It is true. He said that his uncle was in this documentary that's on Netflix. Christy Martin, his uncle was her sparring partner. She was like the first female boxer in the Hall of Fame or something. It's very interesting. Like,
It is interesting.
he was like, my uncle was in this documentary. You should watch it. Is this like just like a drama style though? Or is it like a documentary?
What?
The Roofman. Like
It's a movie.
but it's like a
They
dramatization.
remade it. Yeah, they remade the whole thing. It's Channing Tatum. It's him inside the store, him chilling out, what he did, how he hid, how he showered, like what he did, everything in between. It's basically a narration of like the story. It was like not a narration, but a story. They remade the story into a fiction.
Interesting.
It's so funny because Channing Tatum's the guy. So it's like, it's perfect. Channing Tatum is funny. I think he's a funny guy.
Yep. He's pretty.
The next. That big Mike will never forget. I'm just kidding. Okay. Body tea. So yeah, so once he climbs in, hides overnight in the bathroom, restroom, storage area, waiting for morning crew, as I said. And almost calmly, politely, he'd walk out with a gun in hand, tell everyone to stay cool, and direct them into a freezer. Employees later said he wasn't cruel or violent. In fact, he sometimes told them to grab a coat before stepping into the cold. Once they were locked away, he'd empty the cash register and vanish back into the night. So he was really nice. Like, he wasn't he didn't want to harm anybody. He had just found a way to make ends meet. So in the movie, it basically, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if they just made this more, but the reason why he had stolen was to make everybody happy in his life. Essentially, this doesn't say about his real life, but in the movie, the reasoning he did it was he just wanted to keep doing more for his family, and he felt like what he couldn't do before wasn't enough. So when he was doing that, he felt like he needed to give them things. But the moral of the story was, people just want you in their life. They don't need things from you. Yeah, because in the end, he tried so hard to just give them things, and just because he felt like that's what he needed to do to make them love him.
The materialistic outlook on
And
life.
that was the way he thought he could only do it. This way was taking. But then once he went, yeah. Anyway, we'll get more into it. But yeah, the movie obviously probably is different, and they made it a little more different. But that's just what it had portrayed. Over time, he pulled off dozens of these robberies, somewhere between 40 and 60. So he cut holes into upwards to 60 buildings, all with the same careful style, but eventually his luck ran out. In May 2000, after robbing 2 McDonald's locations in a single day in North Carolina, police caught up to him. A silent alarm had been triggered during one of the heists. Officers spotted him trying to reach his car, and after a short chase through the woods, they brought him in. So he was caught. He was convicted and sentenced to 45 years in prison. Right? Now, most people would have accepted their fate at that point, but not Jeffrey Manchester. At the Brown Creek Correctional Institution, he started plotting his next move and escaped straight out of the movie. Literally, that's probably why they could make it a movie, because you wouldn't think that this is fucking real. I swear to God, I believe this is real. Working in the prison's metal shop, he studied the way delivery trucks came and went. For 4 years, he watched and planned. Finally, in Jan 2004, he pulled it off. He built a plywood platform, spray painted it black, and used it to hide beneath one of the outgoing trucks. Guards inspected the vehicle, but the platforms concealed him.
Whoa.
When the truck rolled out of the great gate, so did the Roofman.
Oh my God.
Imagine if Dave in prison.
That's crazy.
He's got out of prison.
That's dope.
They will never let that happen again after this. After that, had this happened, I bet you they're secure. Like,
Now
they
secure
probably
that spot.
they probably just have more protocols.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, there are ways to escape prison, but it's way harder now. Technology and AI recognition. Like
And they probably don't let you be working outside of the shop right outside the gate, or they have people right there, be left by yourself. He was lucky. Lucky.
Yeah, that's fucked up. But also cool.
So once he escaped, it is cool. I think that's pretty dope. Good for him. He made his way to Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where his story gets kind of stranger. With no money and nowhere to go, he found an abandoned space inside the Toys R Us. Can you guess? Yes, inside the store. He lived there for months, sneaking out at night to grab snacks and baby food, even working out by riding a bike through the toy aisles after hours. Like little kid bikes. Like, it was just all in the movie. Later, when the store got busier for the holidays, he moved next door to an empty Circuit City, setting up what was basically a hidden apartment under the stairwell. He even painted the walls, hung up posters, and watched movies. So in the movie, it doesn't say that he leaves the Toys R Us. He just stays there, but he does decorate his room. He basically takes stuff from inventory and makes like, he has like a kit bed, and that's what he's sleeping in. And he's eating like candy and baby food. And then employees are like, where is all of this inventory going? And he was trying to blame like employees. So they're like, where is all of this going?
Oh my God.
And the man was like, yes. Like, so, I don't know. Funny as fuck.
It doesn't even seem real.
I didn't know.
I can like totally imagine all of this though. It's definitely good for TV.
Yeah, it's like a perfect story.
Yeah.
And the fact that I just know it. I mean, I personally didn't know. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of this story, but I personally haven't. I don't know if it's because I was a baby when this happened, but I still feel like this story would have been mentioned maybe in the future.
I feel like
it's just one of those sort of things.
I feel like it's definitely like a pop culture moment.
They don't want people to know how to break into McDonald's anymore.
No, not at all.
They were like, we don't want to tell the story until the technology is so advanced that you could never do it again. And then we'll tell the story.
Sucks for us. Fahrenheit 451. It's happening right now.
Fuck that.
It's when they like burned all the books and reading was.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like happening.
Who knows what kind of books that we potentially need and they've gotten rid of. I've heard that they are doing. I've heard that they're getting rid of certain movies. They're getting rid of certain books that even like the Hunger Games.
I need to do a banned books episode.
Yeah, I've been trying to get rid of that kind of stuff. Like even the Hunger Games because it shows like revolution.
I need to look this up. There's no way that they're banning the Hunger Games.
It's like they're stopping selling it. Right?
Oh shit! Did I just send it to somebody? Oh God! Yeah, I didn't.
My God! Don't do that.
My phone did a glitchy thing. Okay. Are they banning Hunger Games? Are they banning gay marriage? Is the first one that came up? No, it is not nationally banned, but it has been challenged and banned in certain individual schools and libraries due to its violent nature. Banned. Okay, where? Let's see where it's banned. It says the Hunger Games faces bans in Vietnam, was historically restricted in Thailand due to its violent political themes because they didn't want people to start thinking for themselves. So Thailand. The book has also been challenged frequently in schools and libraries. Interesting.
So I don't know where I got that from, but some of it, I never really looked into it, but.
No, that's interesting. That's cool. I
mean, I feel like there are certain books they might be secretly trying to do away with, maybe even without us knowing.
Yeah.
Like, something like that.
A banned books episode is most definitely coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good one just to cover some like stories of like why they were being. I know To Kill a Mockingbird.
Books and why?
To Kill a Mockingbird is banned, I think. Which it's not that it's a good story, but it's like it's a story that was written in that culture and time period, which I think speaks for itself as to how the culture viewed things. But anyways, totally random Chadderbox moment.
That's what we're about. That's what we're about. Oh my God.
Check it out.
And I'm not even hot. Anyway.
Funny as
funny. First, my thing went all the way down.
Look what I found last night. At a concert. Well, it was more of a rave.
But I found do you guys even know what a Pokemon is?
This is my son. Don't speak to me and my son ever again. And I found this case. If this is yours, don't even think about asking for him back. My son now.
Oh my God.
I called Debs.
Spider Feepers, Losers, Weepers. No Indian giving. So the cool thing about Jeffrey is not really cool, I guess. Is during this time when he was hiding in Toys R Us, he went under like what is like the alias, like he had a different name, right? Is that word for it? Yeah.
He was an alien.
He was an alien. John Zorn is what he went by. And
John
somehow,
Zorn.
John Zorn, Jay-Z. Somehow he started building a normal life because he just wanted the idea of a normal life again because he had prior to the robbing. Because like the reason he robbed, right, was to help his family, essentially, is what the story led to believe. So maybe that's really what he was doing. Who knows? Maybe they never really mentioned it, but maybe that's why he really was doing this, to just take money, saying he didn't want to work. Who knows? Not saying it was lazy. He went through all that work to rob those places. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
And to maintain cover.
Yes. Oh, God, yes. I can't believe people can do this crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a lot easier in that world when things weren't as heavily monitored.
Yeah, I was really saying you can get you can get away with a lot more back then than you could now.
Yeah, because now everybody's holding a little camera in their hand that can be accessed by anyone today.
Wish it was back in the computer days where I had to get on the computer to be on the computer and my phone just made calls and texts.
I was born in the wrong time. I really feel the most connection to like that time of
The 80s.
70s and 80s, yeah. I feel
80s.
I just feel like really connected to like that style. I've always been interested in it. My senior year, when they like went around the room in class and said, "What do you want to be like when you get out of high school?" And it got to me. You know what I fucking said?
What'd you say?
I want to be a hippie.
Oh my God, what do you know? One. I could not get a hippie.
I are one.
Who is one? You is that hip.
I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that. In front of, I literally just moved to the school. It was my senior year. I was the new kid. I had no, like,
It's like you're going to see them again.
I know, but I said I wanted to be a hippie, and then I was probably viewed differently the rest of the year.
Who knows what people just, like, what people think of as a hippie. Like, what do you think is a hippie?
Yeah, I mean,
A
that is
hippie-
what I
think
am.
a hippie is many terms for people. Could be different things. Like, girl, your thought process. I'm not saying, like, the real definition. What do you think?
I just want to see what the internet has to say. Please, what are they?
No, put hippie definition.
Members of the counterculture movement in the 60s and 70s rejected by mainstream American values and institution, peace, love, rejection of materialism, embracing an alternative
I
life.
say I'm half hippie, so I agree.
Yeah.
I would say there's part of me that is other part. I'm like, I have a lot of different me's. Not like personalities, but like vibes.
Peace, love, and macaroni and cheese.
Wait. But I guess during this time, John went to church as well, trying to make a new life, right? He went to a local church.
Oh my God. John Zorn.
Going to church called Crossroads Presbyterian. And then he also started dating a girl named Lee Wayne Scott. They had a girlfriend. Bro was on the run. Ran prison. Lee Wayne Scott.
Lee Wayne Scott. Interesting.
Bro was on the run. Living a normal life. And then going back to the Toys R Us. Jumping down the
Also, he's like, I need human interaction.
He wanted it so badly, and I believe that's why he did make a normal life, because he really did want a normal life, but he couldn't. But he wanted it so bad. To her and her kids, yeah, exactly. He was a really charming guy, mysterious man with a classified government job. Like that's what he told him. He had that's why he was weird. His life. He's like, I have a government job, and I can't talk about it. But in reality, he was living off stolen merchandise and plotting one big final robbery The safe Toys R Us where he'd once hidden, by the late 2004, he set up baby monitors around the store for surveillance and even manipulated employee schedules. But it said in the movie that he had manipulated employee schedules to help out Lee because the manager was like really crappy to her. But it might have just been to his benefit. They're probably just making the story funner. But in a sense, for him, what do you think? Was he probably doing it for his benefit, or do you think in the movie they probably made that up? He probably was doing it for his benefit to change people like what time they'd come in. That way he could do what he needed to do. Unless, like, in the movie, Lee was treated badly around the holidays, the girl he was dating.
Yeah.
And he got in and changed her schedule to give her the days off that she needed because the manager refused to give her the days off. So what if he really did that? I don't know.
I feel like if that really did happen, that would be...
Because it wasn't mentioned in, like, the actual story,
Yeah.
but, like, in the movie.
They probably embellished it, but if he did do that, that would make him...
It makes sense,
like-
though, right? If you have a girlfriend that's being treated badly at work, you'd be like, oh, I can fucking do something. He knows how to hack the fucking system. He figures out the
Yeah.
password. He's in the vents, like in the movie. He's like in the vents, looking down, looking at the manager and like looking at his fingers when he does the password. And then he remembers it and then goes back down there at night and then types in the code and then changes the schedule.
Could someone do that for me, please?
It's Sally. She is from... What are you doing? Egypt. No, Sally. Sally, I took her in and she's been living with me for a little bit now. Put your hands down, Sally. No, Sally, that's not what old women do. Marshmallow cigarettes. Oh my God, go get one. Go get a cigarette. About 5 minutes. I had a cigarette. Oh my God. Do you really want to go get a cigarette? Yeah. Don't want. Sally doesn't want to. Cigarettes right now. I ate 2 of them earlier. Jeffrey's life. Do you think it wouldn't last for? You think that could have went on for long?
There's only... I think it's like a Hindu proverb, but like I still believe this is like there's only so long that the darkness can hide.
Because in a sense, it was like messed up that he was stealing.
Well, it's just like, you know, if you're not doing things in the right way, it doesn't matter the time frame, but you cannot go on forever like that.
Yeah.
You can't go on forever like that because eventually what's in the dark will manifest
Stop the light.
and in the light. Just like what's happening right now with the men who run our country. Kind of like all being found out now, but only a select few of us are awake enough to know what's going on because so many other people are brainwashed by the political atmosphere. But anyways,
That's why I don't get into it. I try not to, at least.
no, I feel it.
The staff started to notice missing items and odd behavior. Then, the day after Christmas, on December 26th, Manchester struck again, robbing the store at gunpoint. So he came in living there already. Robbed the store at gunpoint. 2 employees escaped and alerted the police, who soon discovered his secret hideout in Circuit City. So at this point, he had moved out of Toys R Us. In the moment of poetic irony, the only fingerprint they found was on a DVD of Catch Me If You Can. That's so funny when I read that too. Even after the robbery, he stayed in Charlotte, still seeing Lee, but once she learned the truth from the police, that her boyfriend John Zorn was actually Jeffrey Manchester, the escaped roofman, she helped set him up. On January 5th, 2005, officers arrested him when he came to her home. He wanted a family so bad. She's like, oh, aren't you going to be there for Christmas? Aren't you going to see us? And he just couldn't just leave. And he could have left, got away, but he just had to see her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he just didn't want to leave, even though that part isn't true, but in the sense of, even though he knew that he was about to get caught, he thought it was worth it to be with her and her kids rather than thinking about his safety and actually how close he was to getting caught, because I don't think he even thought about that. He didn't even care. It feels like he didn't even care. Like, he wasn't even worried about getting in trouble. He's like, oh, I just was here. Like, he just wanted it so bad to where he didn't even have, like, the word to be able to make the right decision, the smart decision. He wasn't making the right conscious decision, you know? He was doing it out of, like, yeah, I don't know. I can't find the word, but, you know.
No, I know what you're saying. It was after he robbed, like, 2 McDonald's at first, and then he escaped, and then he was, like, doing
No,
something
he had
else.
robbed all these McDonald's, like the 40 McDonald's. He went to prison, escaped prison, and then lived in the Toys R Us hiding out after everything.
Okay, because I confused the timeline in my...
Probably just, yeah, but I went down the line. But yeah, so robbed McDonald's, went to jail, prison, escaped prison, and then was hiding out. But then after so long of hiding out,
How
he
long
robbed
was he
Toys R Us.
hiding out? Like, what, 2 years? 4
Almost,
years?
6 months.
Oh, okay, damn.
6 months in the Toys R Us.
That's cool. I would hope that if I ever went to prison, I would be able to escape.
That's fucking kind of cool. I mean, props to him that he made it happen. That's pretty fucking dope.
Man.
But we'll really never know the real reason why he took the money. Was it really for a family or was it for himself? Like, I don't really ever know the real truth behind that. Like, was it really because he wanted to help or was it all for himself? So I'll never know.
Interesting.
At his trial later that year, he was convicted again and sentenced to 40 more years. He already had 45 years. So 40 more years in prison. He's currently serving time at Central Prison in Raleigh, North Carolina, with a projected release date of December 4th, 2036. And believe it or not, he's tried to escape 2 more times. Once in 2009 and again in 2017. Both of those attempts failed. Obviously, they probably learned what to do, what not to do, and how not to mess up and let someone escape from prison because they probably got in fucking big trouble when he escaped. So it's a story that's part tragedy, part brilliance, and part obsession.
Yeah, that's cool.
Jeffrey Manchester wasn't your typical violent criminal. He was methodical, oddly polite, and also cinematic in his planning. But in the end, his intelligence became his downfall. Because no matter how clever you are, if you're living life through ceiling tiles of a McDonald's or under a stairwell, the truth always finds its ways through the crack. Both his gift and his curse. That was the end to his... It was both the gift and his curse, his intelligence. He wasn't your average criminal, but no amount of cleverness could keep him free.
He was not your average
Forever.
Jeff.
He was a smart person. He was very smart.
Not your average Jeff.
Yeah, he was a very smart fellow. So yeah, basically, that's the story I have for him. But I also had gotten an idea from a friend of another story that was similar to that. Not so much of the robbery portion, but the living somewhere weird.
Okay.
So the woman, this actually happened very recently. This happened April 23rd in 2024. So very recent.
That is very recent.
Very recent. This was on cops. This was a camera footage for it's 28 minutes long. But I don't know if it's on cops, but it's on a police show. And basically it turned into a news article. And I'm so curious about this woman, actually. But let's just get into it. So she lived inside the sign of a roof of... A woman was living inside of a sign on the roof of a Michigan grocery store. She told the police it was an old safe spot known to her family, though she didn't explain why she chose to stay there for a year. So she was there for a whole year living inside the sign.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She made it a whole home. She had what is it? An extension cord. Plugging shit up in there. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. The 34-year-old woman, whose name hasn't been released, still not, was very concerned about her possessions, as the police officer said she would have to immediately leave the attic-like space inside the family fair sign in Midland. So it's in Midland, 130 miles north of Detroit, Midland, Michigan.
Interesting.
In family fair sign. I've never heard of family fairs, but it's a grocery store.
Interesting.
And she has the nickname Roof Ninja. So when she was telling him that, the police were like, believe it or not, you have a nickname. And She said, what, Spider-Man or something? And he said, no, roof ninja, referring to a stealthy warrior. Tell me that ain't cool. She said, that's true.
I want to see what she looks like.
Okay, so basically, she has been called by people because she wears a ski mask and black clothes and gloves because she says that she has an allergy to the sun.
Oh
So
my
she
God.
wears all of this stuff, but she's a very nice person. But she has allergies to the sun, but she just wears gloves, full black, a ski mask. But she lives in Michigan.
That's fucking insane.
And you can watch the video on YouTube. It's 30 minutes long.
Yeah, look, this is like part of the inside.
She had like perfectly stacked food. She had it all organized, and the way that she preserved her meat and stuff was she kind of kept it right outside the door because in Michigan, she's like, it's just cold enough to preserve my food.
That's fucking insane. I love that so much. Like, there's just
then-
there's like such organization skills.
She had,
involved in
they said
doing-
that she had a copy machine, she had a Keurig, a bed, like she had all kinds of shit.
Oh, I've seen a family fair before. Okay.
I've never seen a family fair. Ever in my life, never heard of it in my life.
I have family
you-
from Michigan.
I
I
don't-
think there's
So you've been to
something
Michigan. The farthest I've went is to go to.
That's fucking crazy. I was like, what does she look like? But there's no pictures of like what she actually looks like.
No, because she hides her face. Like her life is so. I'm so curious about why. Okay, like I'll get to that point, but like why she's doing it. But essentially, she's homeless, right? That's what she considers herself. But the way they found her was there's construction workers on the roof, and they had seen a cord that was going inside of this door inside the sign, and the guy was like kind of confused what was going on there. He's like, what is this? And then he was trying to open the door, and he said that she had the door closed shut with a string. So that's how she was keeping it closed shut. So, but when the guy opened it up, he was pulling it because he loosened the string. She was in there, and he was like surprised. He was like, "Oh shit!" And like he told the manager.
Oh my God.
So this is how she
People
got
ruin
found.
everything.
Yeah. So she got found, and the police came, and they ended up having to go up the ladder to go speak with her because at first she was going to come down because the police officers weren't going to go up, and they had the contractors go ask her to come down, and then she said, "No, I don't really want to come down. Thank you, though." And then they had to go up and talk to her. And they were just questioning her, like, how'd you get on this roof? She's like, I prefer not to say. And she also mentioned that there's other spots around Midland that are safe spots for people that need to hide. But they asked for what or why, and she's like, or where? She didn't want to tell them. Because she's like, if I want to go to these places, I don't want to, they're safe. Obviously, she didn't tell them because they're a safe spot for a reason. So then if you tell them on TV, then they're not safe spots anymore. And then she was just talking about her family and how she's hiding from her family. And basically, she's scared because they'll find her. And that's why she's been hiding. And they said that they've not seen her for a while. She's like, it's because I've been avoiding people. I don't want people to know. I don't want people to see me. So, I mean, is someone looking for her? Like, is her family going to hurt her? Is she just... Her family's controlling and she's taking it to the 10,000th mile? But she said that there was a time when she was almost ran over by a truck, and she swore that they were trying to kill her. The cop kind of just didn't really listen to the things she was saying, but I kind of was like, because she's like, he said, they probably hit you because you were wearing all black. She's like, oh no, they were purposely trying to hit me. Like she knew, like she just knew. And then they said, "Oh, don't you have like a shelter you can go to?" She's like, "Oh no, I can't go any of those places."
Well, also it might also just be extreme paranoia from undiagnosed mental.
That's what I'm saying. Does she have something else going on? But she seemed completely fine. But I know people that aren't fine can seem fine. I know that. I don't
know. Because feeling like your family's gonna find you, like it's just
like
kind
what
of
for
weird.
what though? What is she so scared about? What are they gonna do?
Exactly the way that's what.
That's why she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to go to the shelters. There's a finder, and she just recently got a job.
Extreme paranoia can make you feel like people are always trying to get you or watching you.
She thought that those worker guys were. She's like, oh, they didn't just happen to find me incidentally. She didn't think. She said, oh, they didn't just find me on accident. They had nothing. They were just coming up there doing work on the roof. But she thought that maybe there was something to do with them, but that was let go also quickly. The whole situation was weird. She got down off the ladder. They told her she had to leave and she couldn't take she had to leave stuff. And the manager was being really nice about it. She said, we will hold all your stuff for you, but you can, she's like, I can get it down. I can get it down all myself in 24 hours. And they kept questioning, how did you get all of these big objects up here onto a roof with no ladder? They kept questioning, like, how did you do this? One hand climbing up. She's like, I can't tell you. But yeah, they made her leave and
She's probably cutting holes in the ceiling.
no, I mean, she probably climbed up some crazy ass way. Who knows? But they made her get down and eventually got her. They said they'll get her stuff in a couple days, make an appointment. But the manager lady said she felt really bad. She's like, I feel bad doing this, but it's a liability. If she falls off the roof, it's on me. I have people that I have to take care of, Yeah. So she didn't want to be. She felt bad. She honestly felt bad making the girl leave. She did. But it's her responsibility. So the girl had to go, and then she got her tent, and they're like, are you sure you don't want somewhere to stay? Like a church could help you get a hotel room. She's like, no, like, I'll sleep in my tent. And it was going to be like 20 degrees out.
Oh my God.
And they say, obviously, this woman knows how to, like, fend for herself if she seems very confident.
Yeah. She doesn't trust being in the hands of other people. She only trusts herself.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is really interesting, to be honest. If I was ever in that situation.
She's really and they even offered her a ride. She's like, no, I got to figure out where I'm going now. Where I'm going. But yeah, the cops are impressed. They wondered how she could survive the winter. I mean, she had a whole computer, bedding, phone, coffee maker. She said she knows how to deal with things. She'd been in Alaska before. So she got asked for time to call her employer, get a truck, but they wouldn't allow that. She had to go. But she had asked them how they got on the roof, and they said a ladder. And they mentioned to her, like, we're not a roof ninja. We don't know just how to get up on a fucking roof without, like, how do you carry up on a roof with no type of weight, like a real, like, easy way? Carrying full-size thing. No help. No one helped her do this. That's determination, bro. She's like a whole year worth of things inside a sign.
Yeah, I wonder how she was getting on the roof, and she, like, wouldn't tell how she was doing it. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was. But where did she go to the bathroom? Like, what did she do? Did she just wait all night? Pee in a bottle? Poop when she left? She just made sure not to leave. I don't know. She made sure to do all her business before she went up in there?
She, like, waited until, like, the lights were out, and then she would, like, hit her ass over the side, and then just, like, take a shit, like, right.
And they would see shit on the side of the roof. You know what I mean?
But this is different. I mean, I can wash off with a little bit of water, man.
Like, she would probably just shit in a bucket, or she just waited till the morning. Like, it's kind of like what you do when you're in a new relationship. You don't fart, pee, poop. You wait till you leave, and then you, like, let it all out when you leave. Oh, like when you first go on, like, to someone's house or something. Like that first time house thing. Not like the peeing so much, but like going to number 2. My stomach would be in the worst of pain because I had to fart or something. And like I couldn't because I didn't fart in front of somebody. And it would be like, oh, I would hurt so bad. I'd be like, I couldn't even sleep. Oh my God. I'm like, so tired.
Yeah, that does. I do.
That was like torture.
My man is just absolutely disgusting.
So is mine.
They get too fucking comfortable. They get too fucking comfortable, and then they just become fucking disgusting. So women are strange creatures, while men are disgusting creatures.
Yeah, we're strange, but they nasty. But they are.
They days.
Some girls are nasty too.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, I have another story for you. This actually, I have not seen this, but it had just been made into a documentary in 2024, so you could actually go watch it if you wanted to. It's called The Hidden Apartment Inside the Mall. The reason wasn't just survival. They framed it as an artistic and social statement about malls and development and space. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So in the 2000s, 8 Rhode Island artists set up camp an off-map crawl space in Providence Place Mall. This is in Rhode Island. I said that already, so I'm going to make sure you know. Rhode Island. The group somehow outfitted the undeveloped corner of the colossal structure with the trappings of a home, from a dining table and a secondhand couch to a TV set. Sneaking in through pitch black service shafts, they made the forgotten concrete back room into a covert apartment, going as far as installing a door and running electricity until they were busted in 2007. Scant news coverage and a few blurry photos were the only proof I could find that the unbelievable story was true. So this happened also in the early 2000s. Kind of cool, actually. 2 of the occupants, Adriana Valdez Young and Michael Townsend. So we'll do A, B, and MT. Make it easy. They married. Then they were married. Recent college grads say that at first they were simply curious if they could spend an entire day in the hidden section of the busy shopping mall. It spiraled into their group of 8, hanging out into the unit on and off over the next 4 years, filming their escapades and planning art projects. When you're really weird, you don't think anything you do is weird. What else are we going to do, basically, is what they were thinking. So much of the footage that's made its way into a new documentary, which is what I was mentioning about the saga. It came in theaters on March 21st in 2024. It's called The Secret Mall Apartment. And then they did a skit on The Tonight Show about the film with Jimmy Fallon. That's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Splices together, the groups point out shoot clips with present-day interviews telling the story of their hush-hush living space and unpack the wider history of the Devise Providence development. So in the early 2000s, Secret Mall Apartment was born at the time of strife in Providence's real estate market. So basically, more than 150 years of industry driving the local economy, the mid-20th century saw production dwindle and the city became home to a large community of artists. Near the turn of the century, the city's economy shifted. The abandoned textile mills were where they lived. This is where they lived for free. They were demolished. They pushed them out. That pushed them out of where they lived for free. So this kind of changed. So they had to kind of figure out what they wanted to do, basically. Simultaneously, Providence Place was being built, promising to bring the city into a new era of economic prosperity. Today, the remaining mills are still under threat. They're trying to save them. But basically, this is what influenced their secret apartment. And then this is a conversation, questions. This is off of a website, someone that actually interviewed these people about why they did it and how it came to be, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so why did they choose to live in the mall?
So it says, what was the genesis of living at the mall? That's the question it asks. So Michael Townsend, he says, I have a habit of jogging past the mall's construction site. I identified a space that didn't fit into my calculus of usefulness. It didn't seem like stores or parking when Gerona. And when I went to look, we fit into my calculus. Wait, when we went to look, we shimmed in, and miraculously the empty nook was there. So they ended up they found an empty space. It's like they kind of knew that they'd make some type of area where there wasn't any type of, it's not useful. Yeah. So Adriana says the project was about knowing the enemy, but also knowing what the future looked like. If the mall was the ideal version of Providence or the modern American city, then we had this curiosity to better understand how the mall worked and if there was room for us in its future. So the way they speak, they very much sound like fucking artists.
Yeah.
Like when I was like reading this, I'm like, very old-fashioned.
I mean, she said over time when people read more books.
So maybe now that this person's older and they got interviewed, like they're even more wise because this person, Adriana girl, she's like a professor now. So they basically were talking about the things that the mall had doesn't fit to the lifestyle of the people in our community. So they had really expensive stores, things that people couldn't afford in the community. So why were they having that mall there with a bunch of stores in the community? That was the fight. Like, that was the question, I guess, to them
In the early
when they were
2000s,
developing the department.
I mean, in the early 2000s, malls were a way to bring revenue because then people from other towns would come there and be like, "Oh, we're going to go to the mall." It was
But then,
literally
then it was
thing.
affecting, like, the people in the actual community.
But like, I mean, that's just kind of like what the culture was at the time, you know? Like, malls used to be thriving, you know? Literally, me and this girl were talking last night, and she was just like, the wedding is not for you. The wedding is literally not for you at all. It is for your family. That is what the wedding is for. They said, if you want to get married for you, then you should just elope. All you have to do is get your dress, get your makeup, get your photographer, and you and your man go somewhere and you say your vows.
That's what I would do without paying like a lot for a venue. Maybe just see if I could find a couple very close friends, but up you, even if not, then me and him fly to wherever I want to do it, take my pretty pictures, and just have someone say, da 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 da, you're married, but I don't want it through the government.
Yeah, so it's more of like a ceremony of love.
Yeah,
or like committing.
But I get the cute photos.
Yeah,
we could drink a little, have a little after party.
Yeah, you can change your name on Facebook, but that doesn't mean it has to be true.
Exactly, and you know you're married in your own way. That's how I think of it, and say like, I'm married. That's what I think of it. I don't need them to tell me I am, basically. Right? Yeah. But my dream places is the beach, by the woods, like in Twilight, or on a cliffside.
I would love to do a cliffside outside.
That's like my third top.
I want to say the beach sounds cool too, though.
That's my dream. Yeah.
I think maybe when I renew my vows or something, I would like to
That'd
do
be cool.
that for like a 10-year or something, you know? That would be really cool. I want to get out of the fucking country for a week.
So yeah, I mean, basically, you can kind of compare the stories and see how some people, what people's motives were. Did they get in trouble? Did they leave? Did they get caught? Like, these stories have differences and similarities. So I thought they were very interesting. The Jeffrey Manchester is what I originally sought out for. I kind of just wanted to add more stories because, you know, there's a will, there's a way for people.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the early 2000s, if there's a will, there's a way.
So, I mean, it inspires me now. I mean, if you're determined enough and quiet enough and stealthy enough, you might just be able to live in a store sign or live in the ceiling of a mall or...
No, they were living in the middle.
What if it was like an abandoned one though? Like,
well, I guess the ironic thing about this mall now is they're actually talking about making it into apartments. Like, to this very day right now.
You know, there was a mall in the Everglades that was like that. I went there. There was like apartments on top of the mall. So people would like...
I mean, it makes sense if it's a dying mall, right? So yeah.
Very interesting.
So that's cool that these artists created a space. They got caught eventually. There was 8 people involved, but those 2 people were the faces of the situation because they were like living there. So cool. They were using electricity, getting it for free,
living the dream.
Yeah, they figured it out. But yeah, that's cool as fuck. That is what I have for you guys, the little Chatterbox.
That was it on our Chatter Matters today, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Next week, prepare to get either spooky or we might get into the bad books.
I'm kidding.
Spooky or groovy
or looty.
I don't know if we're going to do
Looty, Moody, Spooky, Groody.
I'm very torn if I should do a horror topic or do the banned books. So leave me a comment. Leave me a comment on what you want me to cover. It might help sway my opinion. I don't know. I might do both things and do like a mini of both. I don't know. I'm the most indecisive person alive, by the way.
Never decide for myself. Well,
but we hope you enjoyed this episode.
We do. And ta-ta for now. We hope you tell your niece, your nephew, the baby that just popped out the pus. I want you to like that every time we want you to let anybody that's living, breathing to know. Leave a tree next door.
Gosh. Tell your cat.
We told them to tell the dogs.
Tell your ex.
Tell your plan. Tell your friend.
It's Chadderbox, bitch.